baby. Why don't you let me in, oh, baby?
Welcome, everyone, to Barry Fenn's podcast. Welcome back, everyone. It's 2025. It's 2025. My name's Isaiah.
My name's Eric.
And we are so excited to be back. Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, we missed you, too. We missed you, too, you know? So we're excited. We're back. 2025. A lot of things have happened in the game this year so far in sports world. And so we're going to go over some things. Obviously, if you're new, we are a NBA Celtics podcast. We two barely friends like to enjoy sports. Not really, maybe not even necessarily qualified to be talking about sports, but we do it nonetheless because we like it. We want to, and we have a lot of fun. So so we're gonna be doing that today. A lot of NBA, a little bit of football, NFL, and college. We're gonna start though with some life updates because while this is the start of a new year and this involves sports and a lot of changes happen in sports, our lives have changed a little bit as well. So, Eric, let's start with you. You hinted last episode or last time you were on that you were planning to write for a different team. You were writing for the Celtics and now you're writing maybe for a different team. Any updates there?
Yeah. So I know last episode I did talk about how I was writing for the Celtics, covering for Sports Illustrated, and now that gig is no longer. So I've been a free agent for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And now starting off 2025, real hot start. I've got a new team.
Oh, okay. Now, is it, I see you wearing a t-shirt and I may or may not have gotten you that t-shirt. Does it revolve around the New Orleans Pelicans?
And that would be correct.
Okay. All right.
So I am now covering the New Orleans Pelicans for ESPN, Southwest Louisiana.
Oh, ESPN, big brand. All right.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm basically their official, unofficial, main reporter for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Great.
So I'm real excited, and I'm going to talk about him a little later in the episode, but it looks like me and Zion are going to be joining forces, him on the court, me on the sidelines writing about these games, and so far we're on a 4-game winning streak, so
yeah,
I'm excited.
And you already had an article about him, is that correct? Or maybe it was just on the whole Pelicans, maybe not just on Zion. Maybe.
Yeah, I've been
correct me if I'm wrong.
Covering, I'd say 5 or so games now.
Okay.
And I would say my biggest person I've covered has been CJ McCollum.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of Trey Murphy. But the game Zion has been back, he's been doing pretty good stuff.
Okay. Awesome.
So
Great.
I'm doing post-game coverage. And once again, ESPN, big dream for me. Loving it so far. So I'm real excited. And maybe sometime in the future, we'll go down to Louisiana.
Awesome. And there's other few updates as well. One of them, actually, and I'm going to put this up too for those who are new. You're an artist and you have written or have a few albums in your arsenal and are looking to have potentially a fourth. And you may have mentioned that there will be one. Any updates there? And when we met off the air, you potentially shared with me that you may be looking to get a Grammy. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yep. So we got the insider scoop.
Yeah.
I actually have received 2 recommendations to join the Recording Academy, which means that in 2025 I may be Grammy eligible, right on the ballot.
That's crazy. Oops.
Yep, and that's the song my first song, Ocean.
Yeah, there we go. That's fine.
But I'm looking forward to, join the Academy possibly and being on that ballot, hopefully getting some votes. But it'd be really cool. And I do have my next album. I have 5 songs finished, and the title's going to be called Clase Mundial.
Clase Mundial. And that means again?
World class.
World class. That's sick. That's awesome, man. Yeah. 2025 already starting with you off with a bang. And there's one more thing, right? Because you go to school, you graduated with a bachelor's degree in writing, correct? Or English?
Yep.
But you're getting your master's, right?
Yep.
And now?
Oh no, I just finished a master's.
You just finished a master's. Yep. There we go.
So the big announcement is I also finished my master's in creative writing from Southern New Hampshire University. So far 2025, good start so far.
Good start.
Don't want to jinx it, but
because it's better than 24. Am I right? It's better than 24. That's awesome, man. Congrats to all that, all those accomplishments. I have really one. It's significant, big update. I don't do the podcast full time. I just received a full time job. I now am working. All right, I guess. Okay. All right. All right. I am working for a engineering consultant firm in Lincoln, Rhode Island, so like 10 minutes north of Providence, as a GIS specialist. Now, if you are wondering what the heck is a GIS specialist, that's okay. That's the majority of people I've told in this position. They're like, what is that? Stands for Geographic Information Systems. Essentially, I make maps for towns and I analyze data using maps. So that's in short. It's a lot, a lot of other niche stuff. I won't go into it. We don't have time. We're a sports podcast, not a GIS podcast, so we won't go into it all. But that's what I do. Just started a couple weeks ago, so I've been enjoying it. Coworkers been great. Managers been great. So it's been good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
and I
stuff.
heard you've been doing pretty well as well in the football pool that's going on.
Oh yeah, we got a little football pool, and we'll talk about a little bit of football later. But I am. I'm doing much better than our fantasy league. We'll say that. So we'll go into that maybe in our football section a little more. But that has been good with me today. And transitioning into something that I feel like we just have to bring up because it's just been affecting sports and just lives in general. But the fires in Los Angeles, they have been devastating to say the least. I mean, I look at the images and I don't need to see anymore because it's pretty tragic. But the positive in all this, if you can say a positive, is the sports world uh you know has really stepped up and uh help their community. That I think every LA team has been really stepping up and helping, specifically the Dodgers and Clippers and Lakers, donations and whatever they can do. So that's been really cool to see. And so just thoughts and prayers out to everyone there, to those communities, and hopefully this ends soon.
Yeah, I know it wasn't a major run for the Los Angeles Rams, but I'm sure that some of the residents of Los Angeles could get some comfort from seeing their team in the playoffs and having a little bit of a run going. So a little bit of hope or a little bit of happiness and a time that some might be not going through that.
Yeah, and I don't even think they were able to play an actual home game. I think at one point they were the better team and had the home field advantage, but they had to, I think, go to Arizona, and they won that game. And so it was, I think that was really positive, and to shed some positive light on this situation. I think that team, the Rams, were kind of feeding on what was going on there, and it was good to see them win for sure. Kind of wish you'd see them kind of go a little further, but it was good in that sense. So, all right, let's move on to ready, Eric? The chimes are back. The chimes are back in 2025. They're not leaving. They're not leaving. Okay.
No.
We're gonna talk NBA updates. We got a lot of things to cover. Okay, so we're gonna get to it. First things first. NBA standings. We'll just give a quick summary of kind of where things are at right now. We've got the Cleveland Cavaliers in first, followed by the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers, the Magic. Actually, I put these notes like about a week ago, and the standings have switched a little bit. Originally, it was Magic and Hawks, but now it is switched. Now the Hawks are in front and the Magic. And now instead of Detroit and Miami, it has been switched to Miami and Detroit, and then Chicago. Those are the top 10. And then in the West, we have Oklahoma City Thunder, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Kings, and Suns. And sorry, the Timberwolves and Kings have switched places, and the Suns. Sorry, anything sent out to you initially with these? I know you have on your notes something a little deviant, a little evil, maybe I could say, but one of the teams that are not on there.
Yeah, I know that at the beginning of the season, I had a bit of, we call them hot takes. And my prediction was that the Golden State Warriors would not be in the playoffs, that, Draymond Green would want to be traded and that Steve Kerr would be fired.
Yeah.
And right now, it looks like the Warriors are, I think, 11th or 12th place in the West.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. No,
Yeah.
it's not good.
And I remember we had our guest on, Justin Santos, and he brought up the point that the Warriors were, I think they were second or third in the West at that point.
Yeah.
But I think what we really want to take into perspective is that the NBA is a long season, and a lot of people think of it as a sprint, and they see like a team doing really good, like the Cavaliers, like oh they're first in the East.
Yeah.
But then later on in the season, sometimes things happen. And in the case of the Warriors, their team's old. They got veterans. Draymond Green's especially getting old, and now they're out of playoff contention right now. So I think it's just a matter of fact that they're getting older and some mistakes being made, and a big factor of things.
Yeah. And I don't think, I don't think there's going to be a huge resurrection in their season unless there's, one of the young studs. But I mean, Steph Curry is the team, I would say right now. And I don't think they, have enough in it. And I don't know if you just mentioned it, but you have talked about or mentioned Steve Kerr, in the sense of, maybe they should let go of him. I mean, you even sent me a petition today saying that he should be gone. Do you really feel like he should be gone after this?
Yeah, I mean, after seeing him manage that Olympics team, I think they almost blew it right there in the semifinals. Like a couple points, and we would not even be talking about Team USA. There would be
Yeah.
no gold medal.
Yep.
So I think it's one of those things where he has like survivorship bias, where it's like, oh, we end up winning the gold medal. But you look at these different decisions that he made, and this really should have been an easy path for Team USA. And you look at his Warriors right now, who have Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and a lot of good core guys. And right now, we're getting to the second half of the NBA season, and he's not ready for that final stride that really matters at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's valid, especially when you take into account how he coached during the season or during the Olympics, and leaving out Jason Tatum for a lot of minutes. And so, I don't know if I will say right now that I feel that same way necessarily, but it could be on the chopping block if things don't get better for Kerr. Who knows? I think maybe this may be a massive blow up with Kerr, the players, if this continues this way. I will say for myself, one of the teams that was left out in the East is Philly, and uh, we've had this drama with Embiid and the locker room and hitting, I don't know, a staff member, maybe I don't know, someone not necessarily on the team, but yeah, he has not been in his role, and he's had a lot of off the court shenanigans. And so, and now look where they're at. They're not even, I mean, Chicago's above them. The Pistons
I know we were
are,
just
are
joking about them
above them.
last year.
We talked about last year, and how they have been so sad, so sad. Now, I mean, now they're playing tournament. Hey, they've been up, but now 76ers are nowhere to be found. So that's a big surprise, because I think honestly their talent compared to the Warriors is a little better than what they have. And Nick Nurse, I don't know if you want to give him credit, or I mean, kind of not give him credit for all of this, but yeah, it's not been good in Philly.
Yeah.
Only the Eagles
Well,
right now.
yeah.
Philly.
Now that we have Tyrese Maxey, and I'd say Jared McCain's been pretty good as a rookie.
Yeah,
But what do you see the future looking like for Joel Embiid?
man. It's hard to say now if Embiid is healthy, then dot dot dot, because this guy is not usually healthy. He's not, and maybe even if he is healthy, he needs rest for undisclosed reasons. It's tough. I don't know. I mean when he's healthy, and when, I mean, he's a dominant force. He's one of the best centers in the league. So maybe he needs a new place to go. I don't know. I need to think about that a little more. I don't want to say definite he needs to leave, but maybe it's a different culture. Maybe it's a different, I don't know, environment that for him. That's kind of what I'll say for him.
Yeah, I know for a while Kristaps Porzingis was heading into different destinations as the man to be, like either the first or second option. But maybe Embiid would benefit from having another star who could help balance that out and take off some pressure from him.
Yeah, maybe some role model. I don't know who has been on the team for the Sixers who has been some sort of role model for him that's been helpful. I mean, in the center position, I don't think anyone. I don't think really there's been anyone that he's kind of been under. I think he was the first pick, and then he took on the center role immediately. So, there was no one there. But I don't really know even veterans. I can't even think of anyone that he's been with on the team that's, that would have been helpful for him. So
They kind of gave him the franchise at like 19 years old.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. Management gave him too much power early. So those are standings. I think everything's pretty self-explanatory. Other than that, pretty standard. No big changes, but it's gonna be All-Star break pretty soon, and it's hasn't even hit halfway there. So we'll see. I'm sure things will change, and things will change after All-Star break for sure. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Moving forward, let's talk about our Celtics for a little bit, Eric. And
Our Celtics.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's ridiculous right there. What he just did is ridiculous. All right, that's crazy. The Celtics. They've been a little interesting these last few games. Specifically these last 15 to 20 games, they've been around 500. Maybe they're like one game above 500. In one of the games that I watched a little bit, they lost to the Kings. They lost at home. Okay, that's one. They lost at home. They lost by 17 points. And they gave Sabonis 28 rebounds. And from my understanding from watching that game, we were healthy. We had Porzingis, we had Cato, we had our big guys. And I'll start with you, Eric. Are you concerned?
I know right now, we brought it up. They're about that 50-50 split the last 10-15 games where they lose some, they win some. I mean, after seeing them face the Warriors, which I just trashed like 10 minutes ago.
Right.
I think that I'm still confident in the Celtics. It really comes down to injuries, just staying healthy. If Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown goes down, I don't have confidence the team will be able to, fill one of those roles.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not really sure what's the main issue that's causing this slump. I know that basketball is still a human game. We have players who are all-stars, superstars. But at the end of the day, it's like halfway through the NBA season, and after winning a championship, I'm sure they're still hungry, but that urge to win is probably not as intense as the first one. Because getting to the top of the mountain, really takes that extra effort. And once you're there, it's even harder to stay there.
Yeah.
So I think right now maybe there's going through a slump that could be corrected.
Yeah. I don't really know what the main issue is either. I don't. Yeah, I mean, again, you could just point to lack of effort in some of these games, and you could say that's it. I think it's more for me. I'm less worried and more frustrated. It's just watching sometimes how this team loses, and again with all the talent, Joe Mazzulla's the coach, and it's just sometimes just like, why do we even get in this place? There's no need for us to be down double digits to the Kings. There's no reason why we're up by 10, 15, 20 maybe in the third and lose in the fourth quarter. It's very frustrating. But again, last year, this happened, and last year they won it all. So I think I keep saying that. And it may seem like it's like I'm saying the same, it's like the same circumstances, the same team is like, and it's not. But I just think, again, like you said, like how can you necessarily be super worried with all this talent and we just blew out the Warriors, right? But I don't know, by 20 or something like that the other night. So it's going to be this roller coaster ride until we get the playoffs. Once we win like the first round, we're going to be like, all right, we're good. And we've gone over our whatever that was in the regular season. So,
yeah. Well, I guess knowing your position on Joe Mazzulla, if the Celtics did not win a second championship this year, what would you say his status is for the following year?
I think you keep him on. You keep him on. He's done. Yet again, if we lose the first round, say right, if we had a hypothetical scenario and we lost the first round to whoever, then I may consider, all right, what the heck, Joe? Like, you've been great and we won last year, but like that's not acceptable with this team, this roster. So I think it's gonna depend on context, but I think in most case scenarios, I think he stays next year. I'm not cutting Joe, although he's a love and hate for me still. So He stays on. He stays on for me.
Gotcha.
In other Celtics news, Xfinity. What the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck, Xfinity? Yeah, Eric, you brought this up. I didn't even know this happened because I have UTV, and usually when I watch the Celtics, I just watch it on TNT. Um, so yeah, what's up with this premium package deal? What's going on?
Yeah. So this started actually, I think a week ago. So we're looking at, 2025. I guess the Celtics were rather Xfinity wants to change things up.
Okay,
They're now charging an extra $20 per month to have access to Channel 52 Nesson. Yeah. So that essentially means if you want to watch the Celtics, you need this extra package, which I said is, an extra $20 a month.
right.
So no offense to like Felger and Maz or any of those guys, but I'm not paying $20 a month to hear them talk about whatever.
Yeah,
I'm paying the extra $20 if I choose to watch the Celtics. And to
Yep.
me, is it worth it? You look at NBA League Pass, and it's $17.
Yep.
So I could either watch all 82 Celtics games for $20 or watch all NBA games in the league for $17.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that, Isaiah?
Right. And this is crazy me wrong. Is this NBC Sports or is this Nesson?
I believe
Because
it's
I think it's different, right?
NBC and Nesson.
Okay. Oh, it's both combined.
Yeah.
So you can't watch channel 51 or 52 unless you get this package now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's good to know. I was gonna say, like, oh, they also have the Red Sox and the Bruins, local games, which is fine and dandy. But yeah, that's a little ridiculous. That's a little absurd. I mean, it's gonna depend. I mean, if you really like Felger and Maz or those other talk shows, and you watch, the local like Bruins and Reds, like that's your kind of go to, then sure, then it's gonna be worth it for you. But I think if you're a Celtics fan and that's it, it's much worth it to get the NBA League Pass because you're gonna get all the games, and even if you're not necessarily interested yet in watching other NBA teams, you could just tune in and watch a certain team and kind of get hooked that way, versus watch a Celtics game and then that's all. If that's all you're watching for that package, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So
So the title of premium package to me, it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense because I think watching the Celtics as a cable provider should be the bare minimum to watch your local team.
right, absolutely, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking, and hey, I don't, I'm not saying Xfinity. We're not downing Xfinity and as a whole. We're just saying this is a little interesting, and as a sports podcast, we're it's very interesting, and we kind of it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Premium, yeah,
But just to
Celtics are
make sure-
premium,
Oh yeah, they're premium.
but that package ain't okay.
No,
that package ain't. All right. Let's move on. We talked about All Stars a little bit, or that it's coming up, and it's actually starting on Valentine's Day. I mean, if that's worth anything, and it could be a trigger for some. It could be a trigger for some, but that's the weekend. It's gonna be February 14th to the 16th, and yeah, I think we both voted, right? Did you vote for All Stars this 2024 2025 season?
Yeah, I made a couple selections.
Okay, all right. Do you remember who they are? You got them on top of your head for the most part? Well, if you got a few,
Yeah, I think they asked for like 10 entries.
yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of them were obvious. Like I did Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. The ones that you might be surprised about, I guess wearing this shirt, probably not, but CJ McCollum.
Okay,
He's been dropping like 50 points.
I have been seeing that. Yeah, as
Yeah.
a headline.
So he's someone I would say, he's been consistent. He's been stepping up on the court where he needs to be, showing he can be a veteran leader.
Yeah,
So I think he deserves to be not a starter, but definitely somewhere on the squad.
sure, yeah. CJ has been great. He's probably been the star of the team with Brandon Ingram and Zion being out several games. So CJ has been great. I actually took a screenshot of my and on my picks, and I have them here. All of them. So I actually didn't have I mean, I didn't have CJ, but I didn't put Brown either. I didn't put Jalen Brown. All right, here's what I did. Okay, so let's start with West. All right, let's start with West. I put Luka, SGA, right, LeBron, Jokic, and then I guess my sleeper, but I don't think really. I put Wemby. I mean, I think he deserves it, and I'm going to talk about Wemby later in the show. And then in the East, I have Giannis, LaMelo, Banchero, Brunson, and Tatum. Okay, now maybe Banchero, you might say, oh, he's on the fence if you talk about just Jaylen Brown and right in the forward. But I mean, I think the Magic are what? They're top or 6 they dropped. But they're mainly relevant. I mean, they have a young team in Franz Wagner, and they have Jalen Suggs, I believe. They have a lot of young talent, but I think they're mainly relevant because of him, because of Banchero. Jaylen Brown is, he won Finals MVP. He's an all-star. He has to be in there. But I guess again, for me, seeing potentially 2 Celtics, I guess I drifted away just from that. Not necessarily because Jaylen Brown shouldn't be in, but most so I was like, I'm gonna be more well-rounded in my
voters
picks.
fatigue.
I guess, yeah, for sure, voter fatigue a little bit. So wasn't talent. It was more so I guess saying double
I guess
Celtics. So
I would say your Western picks seem like pretty solid.
okay, thank you.
Yep, but I guess on that list, like, who do you consider like to be on the West chopping block?
Oh, out of the ones I had,
Yeah, because they all seem like good players.
I know that is tough. Dare I say LeBron? Dare I say LeBron? That's kind of that's I don't know. Look, the ones who are definite, SGA, Luca. I mean, they're all definite. I don't know. They're all definites. I mean, if you're gonna, I think for me, I'll be honest. I think it's LeBron or Wemby. I think it's LeBron or Wemby. Jokic has led his team. I mean, they're top 4 because of him right now. And maybe him alone. SGA is sensational, and the Thunder are number 1. Luca is sensational, and they're a little lower, but I mean, he's averaging like 35. I can't put him. And I mean, LeBron, again, it's his age, and he's doing incredible stats wise. If I had like the rest of the list and could kind of see who I may take out and put in, I think that might be give me a better sense of what I do. But I mean, Wemby and LeBron are both forwards, so it would have to be someone in that category. I don't know. It's tough. Who would you take out the chopping block of those 5? Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, right. I know. You asked me though, so
I know that's a like you said, between Wembanyama and LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron's doing amazing at like 40 something, and Wemby's doing amazing at like his early 20s.
Yeah.
So that'd be a very tough call, but just because of pop cultural influence, I'm gonna go with LeBron.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. There you go. It's tough. But they all absolutely 100% deserve to be in. No question.
Yeah, but I do have a couple shades to throw. Like,
oh, sure. Let's do it.
Yep. So I looked at the top 10 NBA voting,
Okay.
and I did notice that Jalen Green, I believe, was named Western Conference Player of the Week or the month.
Yeah.
He earned some kind of accolade. And I haven't really been watching many Rockets games, but I know that he's been contributing to their success recently. So for him not to even be top 10 in the voting to me is, we're talking about like top 10 for guards or top 10 for like his position.
Right.
So I think he should be somewhere on that list.
Okay.
And the embarrassing part for me is in the East, we have Jordan Poole on that list. And this is a guy who is on the Wizards, as the franchise player. And he's done absolutely nothing to help him. And I believe like in some systems, you look like a good player because you're with other good players. And some systems you look like a good player because you're with other bad players.
Yeah.
And in this case, Jordan Poole went from a really good team to a team where he had to be the leader. And I don't think he's set to take over certain responsibilities at this point in his career.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up Poole because even when he was on the Warriors, and even when maybe people were saying, "Oh, he's like the next big 3 with the Warriors or whatever," he was never an all-star, right? I don't recall him ever being an all-star, having all-star selection. And the Wizards as a organization, they have made some very sus moves since John Wall and Bradley Beal, like since that era has been kind of gone, the Wizards have been irrelevant, I would say. So, but yeah, we don't have any guards in the East. What is up with that? How do we have Jordan Poole in top 10? That's crazy. And that also shows you that the West is stacked as well. I'm curious what the bottom half of the I don't know if you know the bottom half of the guards are in the West on that list, but
I want to say like Norman Powell. I'm not sure if he's West or East, but he's like number 10, like the very
really,
yeah.
I remember he's on Toronto, but I don't think he's on Toronto anymore.
Is it maybe Clippers?
Yes, I think he's Clippers. But that's also interesting. I mean, Clippers are 5th right now as well in the West. So maybe it's because of Powell, not because of Kawhi or James Harden, but maybe Norman Powell. I don't know. But yeah, those are snubs 100%. That is odd. We'll see how final All-Star votes shake up, and hopefully the All-Star weekend is good. But we talked about it last time. It's going to be interesting, the whole format change, and I don't know. I'm gonna try to watch it. I'm gonna try, but we'll see. I may need accountability on that. All right. Some other NBA news as we kind of close on our NBA segment here. My guy, my favorite NBA player, Derrick Rose, his jersey got retired. So I just want to give props to Rose, because what he did with the Bulls, and man, that man should have one ring, a couple rings. He should have been amazing, but he is arguably a Hall of Famer for what he did. But what's interesting is kind of when people were talking about it, I saw some articles. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. Has Michael Jordan's jersey been retired by the Bulls?
Yeah, I think it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because from rumor or sources that I heard that Michael Jordan's jersey was not retired, which I found to be absurd. And of course, I didn't do my own research on this, but right, it had to be. So,
Yeah.
with that clear,
I
Derrick Rose.
think the Miami Heat actually retired his jersey too.
Sure, I'm sure. I mean, every team really should. Okay, no one should be well, maybe except for LeBron. No one should be wearing that number 23. Okay, but congrats, Derrick Rose deserves it. Phenomenal. I almost brought my Derrick Rose shoe in to show everyone that I have his Derrick Rose shoe, and that he's one of my favorite, or he's my favorite player. But congrats to him. Deserved it. He's he's a stud. He was a stud.
Yeah. So I'm also glad he's in the. Well, like I said, I think he should also be in the Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
Shout out to him. There you go, D Rose. Hope you're watching. And then we got some drama. We got some drama up in Miami. Okay, I don't know if y'all heard. Okay, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. Let's kind of I'm going to go through a little bit of how this has happened sequentially. Jimmy Butler requested a trade. He needs to suspend Jimmy Butler for 7 games for quote unquote conduct detrimental to the team. And Butler again emphasizes that he's using his player option to leave the team. And then even later on, he requests again to Pat Riley, who is the owner of the Miami Heat, that he wants to leave leave the Miami Heat. Eric, thoughts on this situation? It's kind of been the main buzz, outside of actual basketball and standing. This has kind of been the main buzz recently around the NBA and what's going on.
I think that I haven't really heard much, trade talk with Jimmy Butler recently, but I know that it was like fairly explosive like a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, of course, that like 7-game suspension definitely shows that there's some turmoil going between the front office and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
So I will say, there is a very legitimate chance that he could be moved by February.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not moved by February, I think he's going to be gone by June.
Mm.
So it's just a matter of when he's going. I do think that if they happen to go deep, like maybe Eastern Conference Finals, they might consider, sticking it out together for the long term.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of, what really transpires the next couple weeks, if it's, repairable.
Right. I think that was
that was ring.
That was scary a little bit. That was how's my train? That's the train of thought. I got so spooked. Shout out to Aura. Okay, Aura ring. What was I saying? Okay, Jimmy Butler emphasizes. Yeah, I think the Heat mishandled the situation a little bit. I think giving him the 7-game suspension was, behind the locker room, you don't know how Jimmy Butler was acting. You don't know what he was saying necessarily. So, he could have very well deserved it. But I think just in it of itself, just him wanting to request a trade, I think is a little a little crazy. And I think there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't know that probably will be leaked after kind of all this is settled, the dust is settled. I think we'll get a better idea on what Jimmy Butler, why he has decided to, kind of move on. But then, my guy, I always mention this guy, Stephen A. Smith, some guy from ESPN. Maybe we'll be working with him, as a, working with him at ESPN.
Cross paths about the
Cross
Pelicans.
paths, he talks about Zion a lot. But, he was mentioning that, also LeBron left Miami and they couldn't get Kevin Durant when he was looking to, go to a team and went to the Suns. So, um, or even maybe it was even when he was going to the Nets. But, I again, we don't have a lot of information. It's just Jimmy Butler wants to be out for some reason. Pat Riley, the Heat, said, we're going to suspend you. And now the interesting is that he's going to be back from the suspension and he's playing. And so now it's probably going to be a little awkward in the locker room, knowing that he's requested a trade and now he's going to be playing. So I don't know. I mean, I think they've already played, or he's played since the coming back from the suspension. So I don't know how that's looked, but it should be interesting.
Yeah, I would say I want to think of it from two perspectives. So if you were Jimmy Butler and if you were Heat front office, where would you ideally want to trade Jimmy Butler? Like
Yeah.
where do you want to go as Jimmy Butler? And if you were, the Heat, where would you want to trade him?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start first with if the Heat were in the Heat's perspective, where they would want to trade him. I mean, I don't think anyone at this point is necessarily scared of him, as a talent, as an all-star. Like, I don't think as like a number one option. I don't think, what I'm saying is I don't think that he would be I think they'd be willing to think about trading him in the East in their division even. I don't think they would be, thinking that they would want to just send him out west. In terms of where Jimmy Butler wants to go, I mean, I would think he wants to, win a ring, and I think, his time's coming to an end. So, I don't know. I don't know necessarily. It's interesting. Like, is Jimmy Butler still a starter? Would his role fit more on the bench now? On my eyes, I think maybe he fits more of a bench role. Is he going to do that now? I don't think so. Right. So I think it's going to be one of those things where a team that is willing to maybe take away a starting position that maybe someone else deserves, possibly, because I think any championship team, most of the starting five, it's going to be hard to replace, one of their players with Jimmy Butler, I think, at this point in his career. So, yeah, I think if he's willing to take the bench role, be a six-man player, then I think he could go to a number of spots. But if he wants to be starting five, I don't know.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of an echo of what you're saying. I think he's still a starter, but he's not necessarily a threat. He,
Okay.
he probably will still earn an all-star selection in the future, but I don't see him being this like big force that like LeBron James was back in his prime and what like Kevin Durant is and those type of players.
Right.
I consider him like a B, maybe C plus tier kind of player.
Sure.
And in that case, if I was him, I'd want to go to a team like, I guess Houston's, pretty filled. They got their starters.
Yeah.
Maybe Memphis, because I don't really know what their team looks like right now.
Okay.
But a team like the Grizzlies, or if Denver needs someone, but it's more so like a team that needs someone who's willing to take like you said, role, like a little step back.
Sure.
And if he wants to win a championship at this point, I think he needs to take a step back.
Yeah, and it depends on what Jimmy wants to do at this point, and he has a big say because he's contributed to a lot of teams that he's been a part of, Bulls, Timberwolves, and so forth. So, yeah, if he wants a ring, I think he's gonna have to change. But if he wants to be a starter, and if that's what he wants to do, then I think that's gonna look different. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
And I'm just talking about like second, third option. I'm not talking about like, if he wants to take that bench role, great. But at the very least, I don't think he can be the first option.
For sure. Agree. Speaking of the Pelicans, Eric, you have hinted that Zion has kind of done some sus things recently, basketball wise. Yeah, what are some of those things that Zion has kind of done, in 2025, or even earlier?
Yeah, so we're not even like 30 days into 2025,
Right.
and I'll give Zion some slack.
Okay.
He was out for 28 games with a hamstring injury. So, he was hurt. He was on the sidelines. He wasn't playing,
Yep.
and he came back. And that performance that he had in his comeback game was very solid, amazing. Like I've talked a lot about Zion in the past, but I looked at him play, and I think he was like legitimately a force to be dealt with.
Mm.
Like he has so much untapped potential.
Yeah.
He's an amazing dunker. He has amazing vision of the court, and he can score, from inside the paint.
Yeah.
So overall, he's an amazing player. A lot of potential still, being in his third or fourth year. But as far as his work ethic goes, I will say they played it was either last Friday or the Friday before against the 76ers, and he did not play because he missed the team flight to go to Philadelphia.
Mm.
And I know Stephen A. Smith spoke about this as well.
Yeah.
Some rumors, and I'll say very loosely rumors, was that he was stopping at Wendy's to get food.
Yeah.
But who knows what was going on.
Right.
And this past it was actually yesterday he didn't play because he had a non-COVID related illness. However, the day before that he was at an all players like meet and greet event. So that means he was possibly like
Distributing his sickness.
distributing sickness.
Or he was lying. or he was lying.
I'm just saying, like, I'm fine. I know there's some bugs going around right now, but
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get over the last stages of a cold.
Right.
Last night I didn't feel the best, but today I'm feeling a lot better.
Great.
I just feel maybe Zion and me had the same thing, but I went to my job today. I educated students, and now I feel all right. But Zion, I hope you can learn something from this. We'll probably be working possibly close together in the future.
Yeah.
Like you said too, we might have some things in common that we both enjoy. Isaiah, you made some really good chocolate chip cookies.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I do.
But no, I also love eating as well. No offense.
Yeah. I think what you've said, starting that relationship with Zion, maybe a little tricky right now, starting with, kind of, talking about that rumor and if he's sick, or, leaving or, but also, you both have very similarities, right? I mean, you just mentioned, right? Cookies. So, I think you guys be just fine.
Yeah.
Just fine, right?
Yeah. But no, he legitimately has like a lot of amazing talent.
Yeah.
He's an awesome player. And like you said, he has a little bit of shenanigans going on. It may or may not be. The thing is, I'm on the fence about his future in New Orleans because at the same time, he's this amazing, awesome player. And he's really what the Pelicans need. And, even from an educator's perspective, you sometimes have that student who like doesn't make the best decisions, doesn't do their work and other stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're also very talented and very intelligent. And it's just they're not utilizing their intelligence to the best they can.
Yeah.
They need to make some healthy habits changes and incorporate that in their future.
Yeah.
So I see Zion as someone who can still have a lot of growth in the future and possibly have this Hall of Fame career ceiling.
Yeah.
But he just has to make some healthy adjustments.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw Zion like absolutely body Porzingis when they played against each other this year. So he's absolutely, he's talented. He's just gotta, like you said, get some things together. So we're rooting for you, Zion. We're absolutely rooting for you. Last but not least, in terms of the NBA segment, we have we mentioned Wembanyama earlier, an All-Star. I couldn't take him off an All-Star award because I'll just tell you one stat. I'll tell you one stat from ESPN. Wemby right now has more career blocks than 90% of all NBA players. And right now, if you're wondering how many blocks he has, it's 395. And he actually probably has more now because he's played games. And he averages like between 3 and 4 blocks. He's going to be absolute talent. I'm not really going to say much because, that stat kind of says it all. He's going to be amazing. He is amazing right now. He is an all-star. If he stays healthy, going to be a Hall of Famer. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
Yep. I agree. He's really talented. I know that LeBron James, Michael Jordan, they didn't really hit their first championship run until their late 20s.
Okay.
So I think Zion's going to be in that same boat where right now he's doing great as a player.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a couple of years before we start seeing that team success take over as well.
Yeah. Yep. I know. Yeah. They got to develop more things, but they better do it quick because I think in the next 5 years, he could also win a ring if they do the right things and surround him with pieces. So, room for you, Wemby, as well. All right. Moving on now to some football news happening in 2025. We're going to start with Deshaun Watson. He tore his Achilles again. Actually, this was in October, but kind of news, has increased in 2025 about him. And, we kind of know, if you know Deshaun Watson, you kind of know what's happened and transpired with him. This season of football, he was not good. The Browns were not good because of him. And so now the organization's kind of, they said he was going to be here next year, but now he just tore his Achilles. So there's no timetable for when he's back. So that's probably the biggest, besides obviously the NFL playoffs happening now, but that's probably the biggest news happening in the NFL. So yeah, I don't know if you had any thoughts, but just I thought it was important to share for the viewers that,
Yeah, I know the Cleveland Browns, they're going through different adjustments right now as well. So
yeah.
we'll see what it looks like next year.
Yeah, we'll see. They got a lot to think about. But Eric, we're excited. We should be excited as Patriots fans for this news. And I'm actually, I gotta play your song because I'm so excited to be. Yeah, I am hyped for this. Mike Vrabel.
Baby,
Mike Vrabel
why don't you let me in?
is the new head coach
baby?
of New England
Be
Patriots.
baby.
I am so excited. I am so happy. I am so no, that's not okay. I am so happy for this. This has been let me say this. Let me say this real quick. I don't believe Gerard Mayo deserved that. He was not the reason why this team was so bad last year. I think Gerard Mayo got scapegoated, and I hope for the best for him. He was never a coach. I mean, he's a linebackers coach for us, but he was never an assistant coach, so he never had true experience. And so, that's kind of tough that he went out that way. But getting Mike Vrabel, thumbs up. That was the right coach. I was like, if they get him, I'm fine. So
Yeah, my only impression of him came back in, I think, 2019, 2020, when he had that game against the Patriots and he used the clock against us to beat us.
yeah,
And since that game, I was like, I think he's a legit coach. And although he can't make a career of that one game, he's done amazing things for the Tennessee Titans.
yep,
And he's just shown his greatness in coaching throughout the years. So
yeah.
I have faith in him.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. If you give that kid Drake May weapons, actually first probably offensive line would be nice to protect them so he doesn't get hurt. But then weapons, T Higgins, Cincinnati would be really nice. Maybe another wide receiver in the draft would be nice too. Because I don't know if we're gonna get Travis Hunter now. We're like number 4 in the draft, so I don't know if that'll happen. But that's fine. There's so many great wide receivers that happen in later rounds of the first round or later rounds in general, second, third round. So we can get someone. We got, I think, I don't know. We have Jalen Polk, who I think either was a first or second round pick, and he hasn't really lived up to expectations. Yeah, maybe he'll happen next year. But we need weapons around that kid, and we need a coach like Mike Vrabel to kind of set a culture. So good job, New England. Good job, Robert Kraft. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And we're looking forward to these next few years and seeing how that goes. The NFL playoffs is occurring as well as we speak. And Eric, you kind of mentioned it before. We have a pool going on. So, if I'm going to explain it, but if I get something wrong, correct me. It's kind of a point system. Each weekend we'll go through different matchups and we'll go through the spread. And so we'll pick a team based on the spread. And then each weekend is a certain amount of points. So as you move on throughout the weekend, you get a certain amount of points and the points increase. And then the Super Bowl is kind of where things change a little bit because you not only pick the team, but you pick the points. You pick all these certain like touchdowns, right? All these different factors. And so you could win even if you're in last if you get a lot of things right in the Super Bowl. However, as it stands right now, I am first. I am first
Yep.
in this pool. And I thought actually I messed up. I thought I messed up in the Rams game. I think it was a Rams game. I picked the Rams. They played the Eagles. I thought it was a 3.5 spread, and it was actually a 6.5 spread. And so I don't know. It was a closer game. So even though the Rams lost, I still had that. So I got all of them in the weekend. And so yeah, and actually it's funny. I was talking to your dad over the weekend, and he was like, "Yeah, if I get all my picks, and he would have to get 3 because one of them he didn't pick the same. I'd be in the lead because your dad was in the lead. So, but I mean, just like fantasy football, it could all go down
Yeah, I
from
know.
here.
Right now, I'm hovering,
So,
I think, third-ish around there.
okay,
But yeah, I know you said like last week you were last, I think, in the league, and
yeah, it
now
was
you're
close.
first.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
oh, there we go.
you're good. You're
But
good.
yeah, a lot can happen, and especially the AFC and NFC where it's just 2 games left.
Yeah,
Like that's 8 points each, and that could, if you get both those wrong, like that's pretty big.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
both right, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So it's this weekend's gonna be good. I'll share my picks. I don't know if you already have your picks in.
Oh yeah.
You give your uncle. Shout out to Uncle Ken. Okay, shout out. I picked I just picked the team this weekend. I kind of just picked the teams I wanted to win because I was like, I don't want to think about it. So I picked the Bills and I picked the Commanders. So that's kind of the Super Bowl I would like to see. Wouldn't mind the Eagles, winning as well, but I just don't want the Chiefs. Don't
Yeah.
want the Chiefs.
I took Commanders as well,
Okay.
but then I chose the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl.
Okay. See, I do like based on the spread. I feel like I was leaning more towards the Chiefs just because essentially the Bills would have to win, right? And I'm like, I believe the Bills can win, but with the refs, when the refs, are also on the Chiefs team, on the Chiefs sideline, it's hard to lose. So, but yeah, I got Bills Commanders. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think hypothetically, if the Chiefs like made it to the Super Bowl and won, I think that's either 2 or 3 straight championships. I can't recall, but
Yeah, it's gonna be 3, and this will be the first time ever that's happened.
and I know, like you said, the refs. I'm not accusing the NFL of rigging games, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if the Chiefs did win this year, there's a lot more marketing potential for next year. If the Chiefs won, then versus Commanders or Bills, who might not really capitalize off this as much.
Sure.
But Chiefs, you could argue like, oh, Patrick Mahomes might be the next Tom Brady if he
Yeah.
won this Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because he's already got 3 rings, he might get 4.
Yeah.
But if Jalen Daniels wins one, it's like, okay, that's amazing. He's a rookie. And if Josh Allen gets one, it's like well deserved, of course. But
Yeah.
there's a lot more marketing potential if Patrick Mahomes won.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift
And Taylor Swift.
and Caitlin Clark. Okay, so all Caitlin Clark. Man, I wish.
He was there.
We don't have time. We don't have time. I'll go to that. I was gonna. Anyway. So there's that. So in the NFL playoffs, it's the Eagles, Commanders in the NFC, and in the AFC, it is the Bills and the Chiefs. So it should be good. It's been a fun playoff series. It's been fun throughout all those teams. So we'll see how things shape up for the Super Bowl. All right. I gotta conclude the NFL segment with just talking a little tiny bit about the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? They are so bad, guys. They are so bad. If you don't know, they are so bad. They're so bad. It's off season now, and they've been out of the playoffs for a long time, but now they're having coaching issues. Mike McCarthy, they did not allow him when he was eligible to coach or to check out teams and to have interviews. They did not allow him, Jerry Jones, the owner, did not allow him to go check out other teams and to have interviews. And so now he's done. He's not going to be there. And so now they're looking for another coach, and it could potentially be Deion Sanders from Colorado, which would be interesting in and of itself. Could possibly be good, but given Jerry Jones' history with not winning a Super Bowl in the last 30 years, and actually, fun fact, because the Commanders have just entered the NFC Championship, the Cowboys are the only NFC team to have not made the NFC Championship in the last 30 years.
Dang, you're an educated hater.
Yeah, I try to be when it's the Cowboys. I try to be. Okay, look, the Giants can't even, they're funny. They're just like, the Cowboys are funny too, but it's just insane. So,
yeah.
they're
Actually, I have a
yeah.
hot take on who they could pick as their coach.
Oh, okay.
And I think it would actually be a match made in, I won't finish the sentence, but
Okay.
Jerry Jones and Bill Belichick.
Okay.
coach, owner.
Okay. And even you think he because he's said that he's committed to North Carolina as a college coach, but you think down the line maybe he could go to the Cowboys, or you think even he's like, screw it, I don't even want to be in the North Carolina, I could go to Dallas now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Bill Belichick, a lot can happen in 4 or 5 months. So for all we know, Bill Belichick can say, okay, I'm going to go coach an NFL team.
Yeah.
And I think that a Cowboys actually would be a good fit for him, ironically. But
Yeah.
I think that he would do some good things with the Cowboys.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I think again the owner kind of changes the whole dynamic, and yeah, it would depends on him if he wants to change things. But yeah, Bill Belichick, really good coach, won 6 Super Bowls. I think he could do it. All right, last football news we got here is college football playoffs just ended last night. Ohio State beat Notre Dame. So congrats to the Buckeyes. I got a few Buckeyes fans that I know of, and I also I don't know. I was gonna say I knew Notre Dame fans, but I don't know. But more yeah, more Buckeye fans I know. So congrats to the Buckeyes, Ohio State. Yeah, I didn't watch much of that game. I kind of saw halftime 21-7. I was like, yep, I'm good. I don't even watch anymore. So good for them.
Yeah,
Good for them.
Actually planning to watch women's basketball, Notre Dame, Boston College Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I know they have 3 players who are like top 5 in the mock draft.
Oh,
Notre Dame.
wow.
So it's like a star-studded matchup.
Wow, that'll be good. That'll be good to watch.
So definitely would be cool. And
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome.
We'll talk about that off air as well.
100% for sure. All right, we're gonna conclude with our mailbag segment here. We have one question that both of us are gonna answer, but please, if you have a question for us, let us know. All right, let us know. So, question. Eric, start with you.
Yep.
What are you looking forward to sports-wise in 2025?
Well, of course, we have the Super Bowl coming up very soon. What I'm really looking forward to, WrestleMania.
Oh my gosh, when is that? March?
April.
April.
So
Okay.
a couple more months,
Yeah.
We got the Royal Rumble coming at the end of this month.
Okay. And where's the Super Bowl? WrestleMania happening?
I think Las Vegas this year.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Go big, go home.
Yeah, go big, go home. I would say for me, I mean, look, Celtics, talk about, 500. They're championship contenders. Looking forward to them. Hopefully winning it twice in a row, 2 times in a row. And Patriots, looking forward to that team with Mike Vrabel, Drake May. Hopefully they surround them with good pieces. Super Bowl, WrestleMania.
And I got my mailbag for you as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
How's the New Year's resolution going?
Man, we talking about stretching, boys?
Yeah.
Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's going good. It's going good, actually. I little by little, I'm trying to have a habit. Mainly I try to do if I work out, right? If I go to work out, which is with this new work schedule, it's a little challenging. I'm trying to figure out the best balance, but try to stretch before then. But yeah, I just maybe tonight I will plan to do that.
We'll have to bring in like a yoga mat and
Well, I have a yoga mat. I utilize it, but it's just, again, I don't like stretching, so it's just like I have to be very intentional with it. But it is what it is. So, but yeah, it's going good. How's your new? I don't even know.
Oh, I guess put out the album.
Okay, well, okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
5 songs done, 2 more to go, and then hopefully get in the global charts and see what happens.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, that is going to conclude our episode of the Bay Friends podcast. My name is Isaiah.
My name's Eric.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Your eyes like the color of the ocean. Why did you let me in? Why did you let me in?